Kevin, how you doing? See you. Yeah, it's like a tour here.
Okay, yeah.
Because this is the.
Summer gone, Dolphins, I don't want to say dropped, I'm sure. So, you went to Scotland?
Last year and next year, but not this year. I just got back from Notre Dame, Texas A&M.
Oh, all right.
That was the weekend. Came back with the W. Makes the trip a little better.
We have form.
Okay, well, we get started then. Good morning and or good afternoon, shall I say, everyone. Let's say, why don't we do a roll call first? Go around the horn here. Bill Murphy.
Present.
Here, okay. Anton, here. Present. Present. Marlene?
Present.
Myself, present. That would constitute a quorum.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so what do we got here? Can we get, let's see here, to accept the minutes, the June 5th minutes, can I get a motion? Okay, can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we got that approved, the minutes of June 5th. Committee reports, finance report, Amy?
I'm just gonna go over the budget, with actuals. So year to date, our total revenue is $306,000. Majority of that are fees that we've collected from Regeneron and, some application, small application fees from Atlas Copco and CHPE. 22,000 in interest. Our year-to-date expenses are 182,000 versus a budget of 184,000. So those are right in line year-to-date July. Net revenue is 124,000 versus budgeted revenue of 8,300. So we are to the good for 132,000. I'm sorry, negative 8,300 budgeted. Again, that's mainly due to the fees we've collected year to date.
How's the online banking and everything, your transition M&T, everything going okay?
Yep.
Great.
I can get online statements, the CDs are all set up and we're good to go.
Great.
I did notice that the interest is the same as it was in the April statement. Is that just we haven't had anything roll over since April? Is that?
Yeah, I haven't, it's in the CD, so I haven't accrued any of the interest, but I can do that. You know, I can do into September, so
Okay.
accrued interest.
Okay, end it on the quarter, let's get it updated.
A little over 4, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be under budget because of the transition coming to, you know, we lost a little bit of time coming from Trustco and opening up the CDs, but next year, you know, you'll see the increase.
In the budget, do you wanna, is that a separate, why don't we tackle that right now?
Yep, so the 2025 budget is in your packet. And this is, needs to be, reported to the ABO by the end of October. It's an annual filing that we have to do. They do a few years out, but, you know, we're mainly concerned with what we're budgeting for next year, so. Charges for services, which would be any project fees we collect, and budgeting 400,000 for next year. Conservative, $50,000 for investment earnings on the CD and bank accounts. Down in the operating expenditures, we have 350,000 for professional services. That includes the management fee to the alliance, audit, legal, any of the expenses for the studies done by Camoin for projects. And then other operating expenditures, I have 100,000, which is, you know, just a plug number for any expenses that may arise next year.
You know, the revenue numbers, right, you just, sort of taking a percentage of, you know, some stuff that's in the pipeline, and we know rocket science there, but,
Yep.
okay. Any questions, anyone on the budget? We should get a motion to approve the budget, so can I get a motion? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, budget's approved. Sounds good, thanks, Amy.
Yep, I'll get
Appreciate
that into Paris. for the deadline.
Okay. Let's see here, governance committee, Marlene, anything to update?
Nothing to report right now.
Great, okay. And audit, anything going on with the audit? We are paying anything or?
I don't know exactly what our requirements are. Are we required to go out to bid on audits on an annual basis? And,
Not annual, I know, the only requirement is that the legal partner, every 5 years changes, on.
is that our
Until back-
requirement or is that their
No,
requirement?
that's theirs on the Tilbacker side, but I don't,
I think the
No, how
person
many
that we
years
have,
it's
she's
been?
been relatively new.
It's-
so
yeah,
maybe
okay.
a couple of years.
I think last year was my first audit at IDA, so, I'm
Yeah.
sure they know there that, when it's time to rotate, so. I mean, if you guys are interested in putting out an RFP, that's certainly something I can do.
Well, that's,
You
I'll
said
leave it
you've
up to
done a great
Bill.
job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think it went smooth last year, so I was happy with them.
Assuming their fee is, they bid it at somewhere in the same ballpark.
It's about $5,000, I think I saw.
Yeah, it's not- Yeah.
Okay, sounds good, thanks, Bill. CFO report, anything more to add on financials, you're good?
Give me all of that.
Okay, Kevin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nothing really to report in open meeting, a couple of issues that I'd like to go over in executive session, some confidential negotiations. The one thing that I might as well preempt this. We've pulled the consideration of the UTEP policy from consideration today.
Okay.
We've had some feedback from some municipalities around the county who have expressed some opposition to that. So I think what we'll do is bring this back to the governance committee at some point before the next board meeting and decide, what to do with that.
Okay.
Just to remind everybody, the Albany County IDA is one of the few counties in the entire state, if not the only one, that is required to secure local approval of our property, our pilot payments. It sounds like a big deal, eliminating local approval, but none of the local IDAs are required to secure county approval for their UTEP projects. So there is a little bit of an unequal playing field here. I think you kind of have a sense of where I am on this, but of course this is the decision people have to make, and there has been some opposition expressed by several communities around, which I think we might have shared with the board members. But I think it's something that's best referred back to the governance committee.
Is this a self-imposed requirement?
Yeah, it actually was. I'm told Mr. Scott is the
historian on
IDA
this.
historian, but I understand some period back, the former chairman of the IDA instituted this policy, we're a little bit of an outlier on that. So it's something to think about. It's not, listen, it's not the end of the world. I just like to try to make the IDA as efficient and as easy to deal with as we can possibly do. We all know that there are challenges to doing projects because of some of the regulatory burdens our companies are up against. So, but we'll refer this back to the nominating committee and discuss it and have a recommendation for the October board meeting.
Okay. Anyone have any questions, further questions on that before we move to the next slide?
Yeah, Joe, Chris, anything?
Very good. Talk about Atlas. Is that, Chris, is that something,
Sure.
the resolution, you want to just give us a quick
Sure.
recap?
So the first resolution is the secret resolution. So Atlas Copco, as we all know, is a project slated to be in the village of Voorheesville, renovation of the existing facility, construction of a new facility. So the secret process, typically the idea likes to, the best case scenario is to piggyback off of local tax jurisdiction or someone that made a determination. In this case, the village of Voorheesville acted as the agency and made a determination that the project won't have a significant effect on the environment. So this resolution just kind of piggybacks off that determination by the Village of Voorheesville, and it says that there's no reason that the IDA has to think that that determination was incorrect. So it's kind of the gold standard for what we want to do as the IDA. So that's the resolution before you.
Okay. Well, everyone had a chance to read that, and if so, can we get a motion, to approve the resolution? And can we get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? So moved. Great, thank you. Next,
Yep, so I'm going to call an audible here, Mike, if that's okay.
No,
So,
please.
because we're not moving forward tonight with the UTEP discussion and
Yep.
approving the UTEP, technically, under the existing UTEP, this would be a deviation
Yep.
based on the pilot terms. So you're required in the general municipal law to send out a notice, a letter to the tax jurisdictions describing what the proposed pilot agreement will look like. Here's the terms. That letter went out last week. Your UTEP does not have a notice period requirement where you have to wait after sending the letter to get more comments and feedback for 30 days, for instance. We don't have that in this case. So this resolution, this resolution I haven't shown anyone, I'll pass out now.
And Chris, if you may,
Yeah.
in the interim, since we sent out the deviation letter, we did have a conversation with the town supervisor, Doug LaGrange, and he's fine with it, as we did with the village mayor, Rich Stroud, and so, this is all a negotiated pilot agreement, so we don't expect it to be.
Is 30 days the ample response time, is that it?
Well, some IDAs have that, and the UTEP is 30 days.
Yep.
You do not have that. I don't think all IDAs, Joe, have 30-day requirements, so it's.
Some that do, some that don't.
Right.
But the important thing is that we did provide the notice.
Notice,
And the more important thing is, as Chris indicated and Kevin indicated, is that he and Lucas have had conversations with the locals to review the terms of the pilot.
Mhm.
So the issue that is typically a concern to the IDA board members, which is, the locals' reaction to the pilot agreement has been addressed by the discussions between staff and the chief elected official of the town.
Okay.
And so the letter that we sent to the tax jurisdictions is attached as Exhibit A to the resolution I just passed. For your reference.
Okay. So,
So is it fair to say that the school district and the town of Voorheesville are more or less on board with this, or you really can't really say that?
I think based on what Kevin said, that's the case.
Yeah.
They're okay.
I think they're better.
We should hear from them, right?
Right. He's the one who's had, he and Lucas have had the outreach.
Was there any public comments in the public hearing?
No. No, regardless.
And we did hold a public hearing in the town.
Oh, okay, yeah,
As per usual, as required by statute.
Yep.
And we notified each of the affected taxing jurisdictions directly of the holding of
She's gonna be.
the public hearing, so they got a direct invitation.
okay. Kevin, I think maybe you can elaborate a little bit about the school in the county as far as the taxing. Have you had conversation?
For Atlas Copco?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we did. We met with the town supervisor, the village mayor, the school district, all are supportive of the project. Atlas Copco's been, an ideal corporate citizen, very active in the community. And as we do with all projects, we had an economic impact analysis done on the project, and it comes up very well in the analysis we had done by the board, so.
We received that in a previous.
Yes,
meeting.
right, you received that when we first brought it to you.
Okay.
So this is just a great project. Atlas is part of a larger company, Edwards Vacuum, I think. They're a supplier to the semiconductor industry. They just did a big project out in the western part of the state. And this is, an expansion of their existing footprint. And, it's just, this is a great project.
So we need to make a motion to approve the deviation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we get a motion? Can we get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed, no, okay, so moved.
One final thing, Kevin is also working with the company on providing some funding for the county's STAGE grant program. It's Sustainable Technology and Green Energy, and Atlas Copco is doing some energy improvements there that qualified. So that should happen within the next
It's gonna go to the Alliance Board on the 25th.
25th of September.
Yeah, and they're bringing in a production line that they cannot produce in America right now. It's because of the size of the equipment. They need a special addition on this building to build these. They are massive. I mean, they were showing us this. I have a picture. I'll have to give it to Antoinette for the next meeting of this gigantic forklift that they use to move the equipment around. The new addition is going to put in all type of rigging and cranes so that they can build these large compressors used in carbon sequestration and some other green energy that partner with Plug Power and some stuff. This is the type of company we want for County, absolutely for sure.
So is this a Plug Powered forklift?
Honestly, I don't know if the capacity exists for this. It was literally, think of like the front 30 feet of a tractor trailer. That's how big this forklift was. Massive. I mean, we didn't even come up to the door.
We talked about going over there for a tour.
Yeah. To Plug Power, that's right. Yeah, what-
No, to
No,
Atlas.
Oh, is that Atlas? I wonder, you can sit right here.
They love to show off what they're doing.
Yeah,
They
I
are-
would like to do that.
Yeah, I would like to talk about that, yeah.
Can we make that happen?
Yeah, sure, yeah. We'll work with them and set something up. They're great people.
I'd like to learn more about
Yeah,
it.
very, one of these kind of hidden gems in the county. But very good company. I think they're German. Is it Germany that they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're German owned. Their parent is a German owned company.
It's a nice mix of higher skill and also like assembly line type workers.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really a nice.
Yeah, and it was very interesting because I talked to them about, the employees and they have, each job description has, I think they said 5 pay scales. So you start in a job and as you work through that job, you're eligible and you hit certain markers, you're eligible for that next step. It's not guaranteed, it's a partnership between the employee and the employer. You do these things, we'll get you up. They were showing us, so, they're pointing, oh, that guy's been here 30 years, this guy's been here 20 years. And they have one guy that balances out the centrifuge part of the thing. And he's like, how many he's up to? He's up to 3007, 3008. Like he marks every single one and he's bringing people into the department to help them.
Right.
But those are the skills that you just can't create. It takes years for somebody to learn how to balance these, the center part of the compressors. So very interesting company. I think you will enjoy the tour for sure.
Okay.
We're looking forward to bringing it to the stage.
Okay, any public comments, open discussions? Anybody like to,
Mike,
we have guests here. Would you like to introduce yourself? Any questions?
I'm Liz Staubach, Chair of the City of Albany, IBDA.
Very good.
Thank
Nice
you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Ashley Moore, Interim President at the City of Albany IDA.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming. Any questions, open?
No, we are all set.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Mike, we have an approving resolution as well for Atlas Copco to go over.
Okay.
So one more
Yep,
resolution.
let's do it.
This is just your boilerplate vanilla resolution to approve the project, finding that make a determination that it constitutes a project under the IDA statute, authorizing providing the financial assistance, the pilot, sales tax exemption, mortgage tax exemption, and moving forward to enter into the documents. And on exhibit A is the expected public benefits, which we outline in all our approved resolutions.
I'll move to approve that.
Okay. Can we get a second?
Could we go through a quick rendition of the public benefits? Chris?
Sure. So there's currently 248 full-time employees. They'll have 35 full-time employees that will be retained. 55 new equivalent jobs will be provided. Private sector investment of $40 million. Sales tax exemption of 1.625 million, and I think, Kevin, you can correct me, I think the 2.94 million property tax exemption is a little off in terms of, it's a much lower figure.
Yes, right. There's, I think there's a miscalculation in there of one of the earlier documents.
So we can revise that, I think it's around $700,000, much less. That was based on the prior Camoin project, just analysis, so we can correct
So
it.
it's $700,000 less than this, or
No, I think it's,
$700,000 is the benefit?
I think it was around total property tax exemption around $800,000 instead of 2.9, that's my understanding.
Yeah, I don't have
So whoever is the validating party on that, just put an accurate figure in there.
We'll get that from the most recent Camoin report.
And then if you can just circle back with the board at, the next meeting as to what that dollar amount was.
Matt brings it back.
Yeah, it was in the Camoin report that was distributed to the board, so we'll get that and put it in.
This has standard clawback provisions and
The employment provisions are in there, the standard clawback, they don't complete the project, they don't make the investment. Reports, annual reports, you have a hierarchy of remedies, Chris has been looking at the documents with Nadine, the typical remedy of, or typical hierarchy of remedies, call them in, terminate them, readjust the pilot, clawback, so we have it's all of our standard language. None of that's been modified, you have the insurance under the documents for, providing liability insurance, because we have an interest in the property, if someone trips and falls, we may have it. But we have their indemnification, we have the insurance certificates from the company.
any other questions on the resolution? No? Is your answer?
Yes, thank you.
Correct, okay. Can we get now a motion?
Yes.
And can we get it second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you will, just a brief update on some of the things not specifically related to the IDA at this point in time, but may at some future point result in projects for the IDA. We have been asked to staff the new Albany County Pine Hills Land Authority. This is the new authority that was created to assist in the disposition of the properties of the College of St. Rose that is closing. All that is subject to the successful purchase of the properties from the college, which is yet to be determined. The first meeting of that board is going to be next week, September 12th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Albany Library, Pine Hills branch of the Albany Library. And the board has all been in panels now. The county executive appointed 4 members. The chairman of the county legislature, Joanne Cunningham, appointed 2 members, and Mayor Sheehan appointed 1 member. So we'll be staffing that, and as if and when we secure those properties, or the authority secures those properties, there will probably be, the development plan will include projects that will likely include IDA support in some way, shape, or form. Similarly, we are also going to be managing the demolition of the central warehouse building. As you may know, the state of New York, the Empire State Development has provided a $10 million Restore New York grant to the county, and the county legislature, Deputy Chairman Willingham here is, and her colleagues have provided an additional $3 million in ARPA funds for a total of $13 million for the demolition of that project. And we're in the process of getting that underway. After the demolition, the property will be is envisioned to be turned over to the Alliance for some kind of future development of some nature, There've been some discussions out there about some kind of waterfront-related type development or maritime, the property is very close by the historic Lock 1 of the Erie Canal, which is, we're told, is still there underground. And the idea would be to excavate that and maybe turn that into a tourism project, but, all that's to be determined. But
You've got an estimated timeline of when maybe this could happen?
we're probably, the contractor probably won't be named for another month to 2 months. We're told the asbestos remediation to take 4 to 5 months, and then the demolition would be another 2 to 3 months after that. So I think it's well into 2025, maybe first or second quarter of next year. But hopefully we'll see work on the site starting this year.
So is that in the RFP stage right now? I'm trying to get the contractor?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a false start there, but we're going to be sending out an RFP for construction management and a demolition firm to undertake the project. And because there are, the alliance where the money will come from the county to the alliance, we have bidding requirements that we have, the procurement and bidding requirements that we have to adhere to. So we have to go through that process.
Can I ask you a question? Sure. Please indulge me. Redburn,
Ooh,
okay. Who actually owns that building?
yeah, that's a good question. It is owned by a special purpose LLC called CW Skyway, which is which was originally intended to be a joint venture of Columbia Development Corporation and Redburn. That was when the project was going to be redeveloped as mixed use. I think that the city was involved in some of that. That became economically unfeasible to do that, and that's when everything pivoted towards the demolition. Columbia Development at that point dropped out of it, so it is really just Redburn, or the CW Skyway, is the owner of record of the central warehouse right now. So we will be entering into an agreement with them to take care of the demolition of the site. There's got to be a leasehold interest that we'll have to take in the site to do the demolition, and then there's some contracts back and forth to get through the whole process. But the building is owned by this special purpose corporation, CW Skyway, which is basically Redburn. But
And at the end of the day, they'll own the dirt?
no, at the end of the day, the property will be transferred back to the alliance.
Back to the alliance.
And that's, because the county and the state has provided $13 million.
And is it realistic to believe that the 13 million will cover it?
We're told it is, but, Marlene, you don't know until you see the bids, right? It's not an easy demolition. I was talking to Mike a little bit earlier. Amtrak's lines, which I believe is on a Conrail right-of-way, runs immediately adjacent to the building. And as you know, debris has fallen off the building. The city spent a considerable amount of money putting netting around the building to stop that from happening. But I'm told that this kind of demolition happens. It happens successfully, and
Can you get a guaranteed maximum price contract?
that's exactly what I'm going to do. And Mike, we will have, all the indemnification that we will need, as well as, all insurance and other
I'm
protections.
sure you will.
And maybe even a performance or some kind of surety bond, just to, make sure that.
I assume the big company, whoever's going to be doing it, is going to be
Yeah.
reputable about bonding for that.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly. You don't want it to fit halfway through.
Well, that's exactly-
That's the biggest risk.
That's exactly right.
Because then we're left with.
Right, right.
Sure.
But, the conversations that I've had with 2 demolition companies, they feel pretty confident that it can be done within the $13 million number. And, but, we'll have to see when we get the responses back from those.
It's exciting news.
Yeah, you know, it's, listen, the county executive and mayor, all of our elected officials have, come together and are of single mind and purpose, and including Governor Hochul, who has really stepped up and helped get rid of this eyesore. So,
So how do we, so we gave the building to, excuse me, Redburn purchased the building for a song, let's say.
that's right.
Okay. And so what is it that they're still responsible, or we're responsible for the demolition? Do we owe them any money? That's what I want to know.
We'll have to see. There may be some administrative overhead that Redburn gets, but, listen, without the development ability, this property has negative value. As you can see right now, it's going to cost $13 million to take the building down. And,
No,
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, no doubt, but the
Yeah.
question keeps coming up amongst everyone. Is Redburn making any money off of this?
I
mean,
can't,
everybody is not as astute,
yeah,
as everybody around the table here when it comes to, this type of financing, since they got the building, and now they're just concerned, and the question comes up all the time, so
yeah,
who owns the building?
yeah.
I guess a good question would be, who's gonna be administering the funds, right? You're gonna have $13 million coming in.
That's right.
Who's administering the funds?
The state funds will go from the state to the county, to the alliance. The county money will go directly to the alliance, so they'll be administering
And
that.
then there'll be checks and
And-
balances
but-
on invoices. as they
Oh,
go
absolutely,
through and-
but I would expect that there probably are some expenses that Redbird or CW Skyway have accrued over the course of time. I think the city, I think it was $500,000 or more just to do the netting around the building. There's a lot of money being put into this, and I wouldn't be surprised if Redbird tries to recoup some of that money. That's a decision we'll have to make. I want to say they bought the building for, do you recall, actually, like $50,000 or $100,000? It was a nominal amount. They may look to get that back. It wouldn't be, all that unreasonable. We'll have to see as we go through. But that's gonna be a,
But they're not getting the work. That was the other question.
no, they, this isn't their sweet spot.
Okay. Okay, I just want to be able to look people in the face because they ask those questions.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And it is coming back into the hands of the county as far
That's
as, like
correct.
you said, administration of the
That's
funds and all that. Okay.
Can I restate your question, just to make sure? You're worried that you don't want Redburn bidding on the demolition and making money off that, right?
No.
That's-
That was the
That
question.
would, that
will not
is
be
not
that.
gonna
Just
happen.
to
That's
reassure.
not okay.
Yes.
We will be kind of bidding out this project on behalf of Redburn, and there's some reasons why that makes sense for us. If Redburn were to accept this grant themselves, they would have to pay income tax on it. There was a change in federal income tax law. I don't know, Joe, do you recall maybe 6-8 years ago?
Between 5 and 10 years ago.
5 or 10 years ago, that any private company that receives a state or federal grant, they have to pay income tax on it. And if Redburn had to pay income tax on $13 million, it would probably eat up about $3 to $4 million of that. So that doesn't work for Redburn to do this anymore. When they were gonna redevelop it into housing, retail, and whatever they were gonna do with it, that probably made sense for them, but it no longer does.
Thank you for taking the time.
Yes, no, this is, there's a lot of moving parts here, and, but I think we're on a path that we can finally get this thing taken down and get that eyesore out of the cityscape.
Okay, can I ask another question?
Sure.
It's not about Redburn. It's not about Central Warehouse. It's about that supermarket.
Right,
We gave up the money to,
right, just to, so everybody knows,
And
this is the south end.
Okay, one of the questions I have about that is those people, those board members that paid out of their pockets for some type of insurance or something.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And after we had legislation for us to purchase it. And so it's a real sore point with them, you know, and other people in the community too, so.
Yeah, it's, listen, it was a valiant effort, you know, well-placed for the right reasons. It just didn't work out. And you can say a lot of people have a lot of different ideas why it didn't, but it just didn't. And it never will.
This is a CRC project.
This is a CRC
This
project,
isn't
it's
an
not an
IDA project.
IDA project.
Oh,
So,
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
but, you know, just quickly, so the short of it is, there's the African American Cultural Center, and kind of made a few missteps, and one of them was that they never filed for property tax exemption for the site. So when they bought the site from the housing authority, how the housing authority got to own the McDonald's, I really don't know. But when they sold it to the African American Cultural Center never filed for property tax exemption as a nonprofit. So they accrued about $130,000 in property taxes, and that does not go away. That follows the building. Whoever buys it, whoever owns it, is responsible for paying that. We took a pass at seeing if the county could purchase the property, and that just got way too complicated. So the fallback is that the Alliance is going to use the $450,000 that the county legislature made available to us in ARPA funds, and we are going to buy that property. We'll pay the $130,000 in property taxes and distribute the remaining proceeds to the three lenders, which are Broadview, the former SFQ Credit Union, Key Bank, and our favorite Capital Resources Corporation, chaired by legislator Demowitz. And the cultural center is completely exhausted of any funds. The chairman, Linda Jackson Chalmers, has been, and her finance guy, Larry Malden, have put money to the tune of thousands of dollars out of their own pockets just to maintain insurance on the building. And, you know, it sounds like we're getting demolition hockey here, but I think the building has to come down. The building's useful life is long past its existence, and to secure the building and to develop it would probably not be economically feasible. Now, we do have some interest in a local person whose name I would rather not mention, who has said that they are willing to buy it. I think you might have had a conversation with the individual yourself on it. But, you know, we'll see what happens once we secure it. Our attorneys are working with the borrower's attorneys right now, and hopefully within the next month or so, we'll have secure title to the building. We'll take care of the insurance and maintenance and security of the building. And
So you're saying that building's gonna come down?
that would be my recommendation. I've been through the building a little bit. I don't think there's anything there to salvage. But, you know, let's have the engineers take a look at it and see.
So, okay, I don't want to spend very much time on this, but the property, the land next door to that, is that part of that,
Yeah, there's, what is the little couple of,
It's 1.55 acres.
1 acre and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, that fenced in area behind it, that's all that goes with the property. And, you know, as if and when the soccer facility goes, that could be more valuable property, and who knows, might even be something related to that could be developed as. You know, we were always thinking about this would be more of a community amenity, you know. As you know, we've had recommendations turned into a mental health clinic, to a food bank, a mini mart, gas station. But, you know, so once we get a hold of this, you know, we'll probably, you know, hold some meetings with the community and see what the preferred development is there, and then try to come up with an economically rational way to redevelop the site. But I've been through the building. It's pretty tough. It's rough shape.
Very appropriate.
That building's gotta be
40 years old.
40 years old? Yeah,
Did you say 40?
40.
Did you say 40?
Yes.
Did you say 40?
30.
No, no.
It's at least 40 years old.
That building?
Yes.
I lived on Phillips Street, which is 2 blocks up. Candido's was across the street, and that building was there then. I'm not gonna tell you how old I am, but you can guess that I'm not 40 years old. Okay, so I'm just telling you, that building is more than 40 years old. That's it.
Kevin, if I could just, the appraiser appraised it as raw land without the building. That's why the appraisal came in at the number it came in at. The appraiser, Jackie Conti, who I think many are aware of, very professional, one of the best in the area. She considered it a building. That's how she appraised it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask to go into executive session?
You sure can, absolutely.
And if you could just give us a resolution to do so. We have some confidential negotiations that we're involved in.
Yeah, so it's, business terms are confidential and including real estate.